questions.
So, being Christian means easier life, right? Not necessarily. So let's talk about it. Life can sometimes be a roller coaster, and we get it.
So tune into The Walk, where we'll explore the modern-day Christian journey by addressing challenging questions and trending topics faced by young adults today. No topic is off limits.
All right, welcome to The Walk. We are so glad to have you. I'm so glad to be back. I was missing from a show, but I am back, and I'm joined by some guests today. So without further ado, we're gonna just introduce some people. So my name is Shane. We have...
Y'all know me, Andre.
Sanjay.
Ron Smith.
All right, and so today we are your hosts for The Walk, and we have an exciting topic today that we can't wait to dive into. But before that, I'm gonna ask my tech team, can you switch to my mobile cam? Let's go to the mobile cam. Are we on it? All right, so we have our tech team over here. You know, we have Lee and Dasan over here. You gotta tell me, I'm looking at your faces, right? Yeah, okay, great. All right, so yes, we really do appreciate them. Oh, we have Danielle in the audience. I don't know, it's probably back already, but we are so glad to have this show. Do us a favor. Can you go ahead and share this stream? So make sure on YouTube and Facebook that you look for The Walk Live and that you share this stream. We got to do this right now. We got an interesting topic of if not God, then what? And this topic can go a lot of places. We're going to try to keep it real, get some questions answered, but make sure the conversation is being had, all right? So let's see, do we have some people? I see Sandra Macedo is here, so welcome to The Walk. We have some 13 viewers on the Mount Zion page already, so we have 4 channels at The Walk Live, Facebook and YouTube, and then MT Zion SDA on YouTube and Facebook as well. Before we start anything, because I don't want to forget this, let's give a shout out to one of our young people at Mount Zion. So we have some great young people at this church that we're so blessed to have. And this individual that we're about to recognize is talented. She sings. She plays instruments.
She plays a lot of sports too.
She plays a ton of sports. Anything she puts her mind to, she does well at. And so this person is Jolie Flowers. We just saw through some Facebook stalking from her mom. Her mom is very proud of her that she just chose to go to FAU. So that's Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. So congratulations to you, Jolie. We are so proud of you. And yeah, go out there and do great things. That
Shout out
school
to her
is.
parents also,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. Good. So yeah, we just wanted to shout you out. We are so happy for you. All right, so we're going to transition into one of my favorite segments. It's called Word on the Streets.
Word on the Streets.
Word on the Streets. And there was a lot of words on the streets this week. So it's like, man, what do we choose from? I mean, I don't know, but it seemed only appropriate. I saw this post this week that was talking about COVID and how I think this week marks the third year since in the US and a lot of the world, it was like, oh, this thing is for real.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in December of 2019 and January, I think it was mostly like Asia we were hearing about. I remembered it must have been late January in 2020. That's when we found out. I was at a restaurant at Millennium Mall and I found out about Kobe's death on a Sunday. And then like a couple, weeks, basically a month later, then it's like COVID. And like 2020 was just that year of just craziness. And so I saw a picture, and you're gonna see some pictures on the screen soon that really just depict how crazy life was at the beginning of March 2020. So you see like a bunch of planes just parked.
Ain't going
nowhere to go. You see cities like no streets. Times Square, seeing it empty and
Never
dead.
seen that before.
Never.
I may never see it again.
I hope if it means that, you see cruise ships, which were like one of the latest to come back, like completely parked, and at some point certain cruise ships were used
Stuck out at sea.
Out at sea. Oh, remember, like, people were wanting to come back.
Oh,
and
they
people,
let
like no one would accept them. So, and then you have schools that were shut down so much, and even after those 2 weeks had passed, the outlook was like, let's work together. Let's shut everything down for 2 weeks. And you know what? I feel like, I don't know if it was for the force part of it or if it was just like, man, we've never seen anything like that.
Right.
I feel like the country more or less really did come together. And so like when you saw streets empty, I mean, I guess there was no place to go, but it seemed like people really wanted to give this thing a shot of like, okay, if we actually do this for 2 weeks, what can this do? Then you have like, as working in healthcare, one thing that was a pro is all the free stuff we started getting. Like everybody wanted to reward healthcare workers, and it's just like, oh, this is kind of nice. I mean, I wouldn't want to sacrifice people's health, but it was like one of those things. It's just like, man, this is crazy. So, tell us in the comments, when you think about 3 years later, here we are. I mean, I'm sitting next to people without a mask. One time it would have been unthinkable. Like I wouldn't have been sitting next to Sandra or Andre without a window open or like a fan blowing. So tell me in the comments, like how are you feeling now in 2023 of the year of either COVID or post-COVID? And you guys can kind of tell me, how's it been for you in a COVID perspective?
Well, I mean, I just comment on this. Just this week, we went to a restaurant over on Restaurant Row, and it was packed to the gills. It wasn't a chain restaurant or anything like that. And I looked at my wife and I said, "Man, it's a few years ago we could not have done this. We're
not at all.
Shoulder to shoulder. In fact, we went to this spot for her birthday in Austin. We're talking about a little bit earlier, and I was sitting this close to the next person beside me, one of these Japanese joints where you make the food on the table, and that could never have happened. You know what I mean? That wouldn't have happened. So, and especially being in education, kids had to wear masks, and teachers were teaching from home and all of this stuff, and now there's so few kids wearing masks on campuses now. So I think back then it felt like, man, when would we ever get back to normal? And everybody was asking the question,
Yeah.
do you think you're going to still wear masks after COVID is over? And everybody was like, yeah, I think I'll do it. And nobody is doing it now. So it's good to be back to normal.
Yeah.
It's good to be able to breathe again.
Yeah,
and I
seriously.
think that is, that you can run and hold on a theme with just that, just being able to breathe and to be able to be in the company of friends. I think that's it's amazing now. Yeah.
Yeah, when it first came down, like you said, you just thought it was, we'll shut down for a couple of weeks, then we'll get back to it. But, it's so good to be on the other side. When I was down in the Miami area pastoring, we had a school, and so going years where they couldn't march. So those type of things, those milestones that you saw them missing out on. So when we had our first full graduation back, right before I came up here, was really nice to see because, we had 2 years of children that just kind of the diploma was mailed to them.
And that's tough because that's such a proud moment
Exactly.
as like a student.
Exactly.
Especially you have those students like they barely made it through. They
Yeah.
had that teacher that believed in them. Was like, come on, man, like you can do it, you
Can't
can do
shake
it.
their hand, can't say thank
and then
you.
at
Yeah.
that graduation, like that student, like always is so appreciative to that teacher.
Exactly.
Give him a big hug. You're like, I'm in my cap and gown and whatnot. But that was like missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. It was tough.
I remember going to a graduation, I think it was Brian's graduation actually, and there's certain things that have held over from COVID. And so one of those things, I think it's based off of COVID, but then also just being socially conscious. I'm gonna say the president had said, as you come on stage, I want you to give me a signal by either this for a hug, this for fist bump, or something for like handshake. And so she was letting them determine
I like that.
what
Their
they
comfort
like,
level.
their
Yeah.
comfort level.
Yeah.
And so, partly I think that could be COVID, but then another part is like, just in general, I think we're just more conscious as a people.
Aware
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Like, not everybody wants a hug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, so I was like, that was one of those things that I think that we have become a little bit more where I think more people have become more health conscious a little bit too. I remember when we were first shut down, I looked outside at my neighborhood and I was like, I've not seen so many people walking, riding bikes,
Seriously.
rollerblading than right now.
You couldn't find a bicycle at
Exactly.
your local
No,
store.
you could not.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
also
It's
gone.
It was crazy.
But didn't that kind of tell you that people want to do these things?
Yeah.
They just don't have the time.
busyness of life creates this current. You're always busy, and so now you
100%.
can exercise. And I think I was probably the healthiest during.
Oh,
COVID.
yeah.
I was gonna bring that up. I was
Yeah.
waiting for it to get around to me because
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, COVID was definitely rough. The shutdown was rough.
Yeah.
But it came at the perfect time for me because I was about to. Man, I couldn't take it no more. I'm talking
And
about
then you got to
that
know
week.
everybody in your neighborhood.
Yes.
Like years. You wave, you say hey.
Yes.
But when COVID hit, you have the conversations.
It's like, oh hey
That's so
Hector.
true.
I know your name now.
And we got busy with the things that matter to us, the home projects and stuff that we've been putting
Exactly.
on, the books we didn't
Right,
want to read. All now all of a sudden we were getting these things done. So it slowed us down, and there's a part of me that kind of hoped that things stayed slow. Like we got back to life,
I didn't mind it.
but we really continued to appreciate the people around us
Yes.
and to just slow things down and to focus on ourselves. And I think that's kind of gone now. We're kind of forcing things back to normal now.
The other thing that happened though was with a lot of jobs, they realized, hey, we've been saying you have to do this in person, but clearly
You don't.
you can do this remote.
Yeah.
Clearly, because we operated just fine. So,
That's so true.
That's true.
That is true. One thing I wish we kept was personal space.
Yeah.
Oh man, let me tell you, like there was something special about seeing those signs, stay 6 feet. And I'm just like, whether this works or not, man, there was something about that. And I remember, I don't know what was like my first thing that I did where I felt like someone breathing down my neck again. And I was just like, I could have really went
Right.
without ever feeling this
don't miss
again.
this at all.
And now, it's just like normal again,
Exactly.
lines and
Yeah.
everything. So it's been 3 years and we definitely, I think everybody knows someone that experienced loss or you've experienced loss, during that time period. And so, our hearts go out to those families still that are still hurting from that as well. And then there's like I think there's a bright side to COVID and just how drastic it was. And you really do realize that humans can bounce back from a lot.
Yeah.
And even when we're at our max,
Yeah.
What we think is our max.
what we think is our max,
Yeah.
somehow look at where we are today. And honestly, I could say personally, I did not know what the end looked like from
Yeah.
COVID.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially after the 2 weeks didn't work, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. But you know, here we are. So that's definitely something to definitely praise God about. And there's
Amen.
lessons in so many things that are blatantly in front of us. So that's really cool. I see some people is beginning to say happy Sabbath. So happy Sabbath to all of you. Thank you for joining us again. Make sure that you share this so that more people can enjoy it just like you are. The next segment, my friend Andre is going to introduce.
Yes. So our next segment is called "If He Did It For Me, He Could Do It For You."
Yeah.
And so the purpose of this segment is to share something in your life that like God has done for you, because a lot of us are going through similar things, and if you keep it to yourself, you don't give the opportunity for other people to see like, oh, hey, I was going through that too. Like, how did you get through it? Like, how did God help you there? And so I'll kick things off myself, but while I'm going, I want you guys in the comments, let us know like what God has done for you. It could be big, it could be small, but we want to know because if He did it for you, He could do it for me. So recently, and this is something that I feel like God's been telling me more and more and more, and I keep getting confirmations that you can like really talk to God about anything, right?
Amen.
Like that hymn that goes like, "Oh, what peace we often forfeit, oh, what needless pain we bear, all because we don't carry everything to God in prayer." I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things like we stress about and stuff, just because we didn't tell God about it. Like he doesn't just care about big things; He cares about like details of your life. Like, what are you doing in life? You can pray about it, right? So I recently started having like this issue with my ear where like I felt like it was clogged. Like I'm talking fully clogged. Like I would wake up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, nope, there's a stoppage in there. And this happened, actually this didn't happen. Last year or the year before, time moves so fast now, I went to the doctor and they were like, oh, you have like excess wax in here, you should go to the ear doctor for them to clean that out. And so I went there and it was like $200 something. And all she did was come in and just like, all right, see ya. And I was like, man, like $200 something for, like, that's crazy. So I'm feeling it now, I'm like, oh, it's gotta be worse now. But I did not want to go and spend $200 something again. So I kept like pushing it off. And then the thought occurred to me, like, you can pray about this, dude. Like it. So I was like, God, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't want to go spend this money, but I also have this issue, like, I don't know what to help me out. Then I think someone randomly sent me something from like Facebook or Instagram, and it was like this camera thing that you can put in your ear, and like it removes the wax. Like you can see the camera on your phone, and like as you're doing it, and you can like remove wax. So I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Let me look up how much it was. $30. $30. Got this thing on Amazon 2 days later. And let me tell you, it was pretty bad. When I put something I was like, oh my goodness, like, yo, this is what's going on?
Yeah.
No wonder. But yeah, got it all out. Feeling great. Saved
That is awesome.
$200. And
is awesome.
the moral of the story is, God cares about your ears. All right? God cares about your ears. All right? You can pray to God about ears.
Wow.
And He will listen, because literally it was the next day, like randomly I get this message. So yeah, let us know in the chat, what has God done for you?
Sister Hunt is like, look at God, won't He do it? Let me tell you, I don't even know which one to choose. So, but let's continue in that theme. So the first thing, I remember actually getting my ears cleaned the first time. And so UCF, guys, if you go to college, use all your benefits. You're paying for it, right?
You're paying for it.
So when I first found out I can go to the clinic for free, I was like, what? And like, there's so many things I wasn't using. So one of the things I was able to get done was an ear cleaning. And there's something about, the pressure of that water going in is just like, oh, this is like weird, but it's warm. So it's like nice at the same time. But when you when you walk out of that
Right.
procedure, you feel like you can hear things you never
Oh,
heard
yeah.
before. Like, so if you haven't done it, it's life-changing, all right?
It is.
But that's not my testimony. So I'm gonna show you 2 ways that God just is paying attention to things even before you ask it. So today I went to Chick-fil-A, you know, I'm on TikTok, and I saw this thing where people are filling up Chick-fil-A lines trying to do this bowl. And you just have to order French fries, mac and cheese,
yes,
chicken,
yes.
put some ranch and some honey something
Mustard?
sauce. No, not honey
Oh, honey
mustard.
sriracha.
Maybe, that's not what it was called, but it's something like that, right? Mix it together. So I was like, today's the day. And, but since it's not a real menu item, it doesn't come with a bowl, right? So I asked for the bowl. I was like, oh, I remembered. I'm driving to pick up Lee, and then I'm like, I didn't ask for a fork. Like, how am I gonna eat this? Like, I'm like driving, I'm like, And then I look in my bag, and there's just a fork. And I was like, you know what? I should have known Chick-fil-A would have thought everything through. They're like, we've seen this before. We got you taken
know
care
what
of.
you need.
And in that moment, I'm just like, man, like God, like this is just like before I was already worrying before I even checked the bag. It's just like, no, check
Yeah.
the bag.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if it's not in there, then you know, start thinking about it. Same thing with my phone. I was just having a bad day, walking around, and what was something that feels like a first world problem that can just mess up your day is
Yeah.
dropping your phone
Oh yeah.
on a hard surface.
Yeah.
And I dropped my phone on the pavement, right? And I'm just like, I didn't even want to look at my phone. I didn't want to pick up my phone because I was like, that sounded
What is it gonna
like
be?
that's
Right,
right.
right.
What
I
angle did you drop it at?
picked it up. I picked it up.
Uh-huh.
And the screens just cracked. And I'm just like, and at that moment, I was like, what else can go wrong? I was like, and I backed up. I was like, wait, I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
But a lot has gone wrong today,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so I'm just like, kind of like walking, kind of upset. And something just told me like, look at your phone. I'm like, I looked at my phone. That's why I'm upset. Like it's messed up. And I put it back there. They're like, no, look at your phone. I'm looking at my phone, and I was like, oh, is that a screen protector? And I did not remember I had a screen protector on it. I peeled away the screen protector,
phone
and my
was fine.
phone was
Perfect.
fine, right? And like
love to see
that
it.
lesson right
Yeah.
there taught me like, yo, like God's really it's got you covered. And some of the things that you worry about and you're concerned about, like God's not worried about it because he's
It's
like,
like,
you're taken care of. And even if it was cracked, then I have to believe that he's gonna provide the funds for me to get a new
Exactly.
phone, to
Yeah.
get it replaced. So
Exactly.
like the word
Exactly.
is with that is God's got it.
Yeah.
No matter how big
Yeah.
or how
Yeah.
small,
Yeah.
he's got you.
Man, that's some good stuff, guys. I can match that. I'm not, same God, but manifest in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Interesting week. I think more. I've been used by God this week. I got a call from my sister-in-law this week that her daughter, my nieces, wasn't doing too well with the breakup. She's young and all of that, and I called her up and I spent a good 5 hours with her. Just had dinner and just talking her through life. Just having had life experience to be able to give back, I think was a huge thing that I was able to be used as a blessing. But what's interesting is that this week is spring break for me, so I've been reconnecting with some people in my life, and there's one particular woman that I think is just a godsend for me. Not one of the same faith, but for my close friends, I had a rough year last year, just all around work life, personal life, church life. Like it was rough, and it was interesting that I was with her when she just